Dark Case Files opens on a silent bedroom at 2:17 a.m., where the hum of a ceiling fan is the only witness to what lies on the floor. A body positioned unnaturally beside a shattered picture frame, dried blood traced like a cruel signature across the hardwood, and a phone still glowing with an unfinished message that reads only, "He knows," because in the first 10 seconds of this true crime story, we are confronted with a question that will haunt every frame that follows. How did a love triangle become a murder scene with no clear killer and too many secrets? This Dark Case Files episode takes us back to the coastal city of Briarcliff in October 2018, a place of fog-drenched mornings, quiet cafes, and a tight-knit community where everyone believed they knew each other, until the night Emily Carter was killed. Emily was 29, a freelance graphic designer known for her calm demeanor and meticulous notebooks, living in a converted loft downtown. And she was at the center of a complicated emotional web involving two very different men, Daniel Moore and Lucas Reed. Daniel, 32, was her longtime boyfriend, a financial analyst with a structured life, a reserved personality, and a carefully planned future that included marriage, a move to the suburbs, and predictable safety. While Lucas, 30, was Emily's former college friend turned passionate rekindled lover, a musician with a history of instability, impulsive decisions, and an intensity that drew people in and pushed them away just as quickly. The love triangle was not public knowledge, at least not officially, but messages, late-night calls, and whispered sightings slowly built an invisible tension that would later erupt into violence. Briarcliff police records show that on October 14th, Emily attended a small gathering at a local bar with coworkers left alone around 10:40 p.m. and was last seen on surveillance cameras entering her building at 11:02 p.m., after which the cameras in the hallway malfunctioned for precisely 47 minutes, a coincidence that would later feed endless speculation. According to forensic reports, Emily was killed sometime between 11:20 p.m. and midnight, the cause of death, a single stab wound to the chest delivered with significant force indicating rage or desperation rather than hesitation. There were no signs of forced entry, no defensive wounds on Emily's hands, and no weapon found at the scene, suggesting that she knew her killer trusted them enough to let them close and did not expect what was coming. Neighbors reported hearing muffled voices around 11:30 p.m., followed by a loud crash, but no one called the police, assuming it was an argument, another reminder of how often warning signs are ignored in true crime cases. When police arrived at 7:46 a.m., the next morning after Emily failed to show up for a scheduled client meeting and her sister requested a welfare check, they found the apartment eerily tidy except for the bedroom, where the violence seemed contained yet deeply personal, with framed photos of Emily and Daniel face down on the dresser and an old concert ticket stub tucked into her pocket, one that matched a date Lucas and Emily once reminisced about in text messages recovered later. Investigators quickly focused on Daniel Moore, whose alibi appeared weak at best, as he claimed he was working late at the office, yet security logs showed him leaving at 10:15 p.m., giving him ample time to reach Emily's apartment. And more troubling was the discovery of a series of heated messages on Emily's phone sent earlier that evening, in which Daniel wrote, "We need to talk tonight, no excuses," a phrase prosecutors would later dissect word by word. Daniel cooperated fully with police, submitted to questioning without a lawyer initially, and showed visible distress. But inconsistencies in his timeline raised red flags, especially when cell tower pings placed his phone within a mile of Emily's building at 11:18 p.m., a fact Daniel insisted was due to a dropped call and not his physical presence. Then there was Lucas Reed, whose involvement added a volatile layer to the investigation, because unlike Daniel, Lucas admitted he had been with Emily earlier that day, having met her for coffee where witnesses saw them arguing intensely. And text exchanges revealed that Emily had told Lucas she intended to end things for good that night, a statement that prosecutors argued could have triggered an emotional breakdown. Lucas claimed that after the coffee meeting he drove out of town to play a late-night gig at a dive bar nearly 40 miles away, and several people confirmed seeing him perform around midnight, though the exact timing remained disputed. The investigation deepened as detectives uncovered a deleted voicemail on Emily's phone, partially recovered through digital forensics, containing a male voice saying, "If you walk away now, don't blame me for what happens." But the audio quality was too distorted to conclusively identify the speaker. an ambiguity that would haunt the jury and fuel endless online debates. As forensic teams processed the apartment, they found a partial fingerprint on the bedroom doorframe, smudged and incomplete, along with traces of a cleaning agent near the sink, suggesting someone attempted to wash blood from their hands, yet no towels or cloths with blood were recovered, a puzzling absence that suggested planning rather than panic. Police errors soon became apparent, as the crime scene was not sealed immediately due to a miscommunication, allowing several officers and the building manager to enter before full documentation, potentially contaminating crucial evidence, a mistake that defense attorneys would later exploit. Weeks into the investigation, a surprise twist emerged when bank records showed that Emily had recently changed her life insurance beneficiary from her sister to Daniel, a fact that seemed to strengthen the case against him, until it was revealed that the change was never finalized due to missing paperwork, rendering it legally irrelevant but emotionally devastating for the family. Public opinion in Briarcliff split sharply, with local media framing Daniel as the calculating boyfriend and Lucas as the unstable outsider, while online true crime forums dissected every known detail embodying the dark case files phenomenon where real lives become collective obsession. Prosecutors eventually charged Daniel Moore with second-degree murder citing motive, opportunity, and circumstantial evidence, while Lucas was treated as a material witness, though many believed he escaped scrutiny too easily. The trial began in June 2020 amid heavy media coverage, and courtroom testimony painted a chilling portrait of emotional manipulation, jealousy, and escalating pressure, with friends describing Emily as increasingly anxious in the weeks before her death, afraid of making the wrong choice between safety and passion. Daniel took the stand, maintaining his innocence, voice steady but eyes betraying exhaustion, as he described a relationship strained by Emily's emotional distance, while Lucas testified remotely, recounting a volatile friendship that blurred into romance and then collapsed into resentment. Forensic experts debated cell phone data accuracy, with defense witnesses arguing that location pings could not place Daniel inside the apartment, while prosecutors emphasized pattern over precision. In a dramatic moment that became a turning point, the defense introduced evidence of an unknown third set of DNA found on Emily's bedsheets, too degraded to identify, but enough to suggest another presence, a revelation that introduced reasonable doubt and shifted the narrative. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury acquitted Daniel Moore, citing insufficient evidence to convict beyond a reasonable doubt, a verdict that sparked outrage, relief, and unanswered questions, leaving Emily's family shattered and the community divided. The case against Lucas was never formally pursued due to lack of direct evidence, and the investigation was eventually labeled inactive, though not officially closed, a haunting limbo common in unresolved true crime cases. Years later, the apartment remains empty. Neighbors still whisper about the night when love turned lethal, and Emily Carter's story continues to circulate across podcasts, forums, and dark case files discussions as a chilling example of how emotional entanglements can end in blood. The unanswered questions linger like shadows. Was the killer driven by jealousy or fear? Was the crime impulsive or calculated? Did the truth slip away because of early mistakes or intentional silence? And could justice still be hiding in a detail not yet noticed? This has been Dark Case Files, where every true crime story reminds us that behind statistics and headlines are human lives and fragile choices. And as you sit, ask yourself, if you were on that jury, would you have convicted, or does doubt mean someone else is still out there? If you want more dark, unsettling true crime stories told with depth and respect, subscribe to Dark Case Files, turn on notifications, and join us as we continue exploring the cases that refuse to stay buried.